Hi, I'm Phil the Blythe. Welcome to the year 1977. Happy New Year. God, I had to film this video all over again because my microphone's rattling around. My cat is chasing his tail currently, so I hope he's having a good time with that. Anyway, so this video is going to be quick, short, and hopefully to the point. In a point. So this video is to say thank you for 5K. Oh my gosh, I can't even express how mind-blowing that is to me. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 5K doesn't seem like a lot in the grand scheme of YouTubers, but I mean, if you were to shove 5K people in one room, that's a lot of people, and that's you guys. You guys really made this channel. I know people say that all the time, but for me, it's been really encouraging to sort of branch out from how this channel started and to have a really positive reception to that. So that's been awesome, and you guys have been so kind in offering me constructive criticism as well as letting me know what you're interested in seeing. So another thing that obviously the title of this video is that I launched a Patreon on January 1st. We've already had some people shout out to all my new patrons. Thank you so much, and shout out to Ambrose because you are in that tier where you get a shout out. My Patreon is something that I have been wanting to do since the start of the channel. If you want to know a little bit more about the details of the timing of it, I'll link that in this video, in which my most recent video, in which I kind of explain kind of where I'm at going into the new year. My Patreon has always been a goal of mine since starting my YouTube channel. So there are a couple different tiers. There's a $1 tier, there's a $3 tier, $5 tier, and a $10 tier. The $10 tier is pretty much purely support. If you feel like you want to support me more than $5 a month, that is a tier for you. You do get everything, obviously, in the previous years, but that one doesn't necessarily get you anything extra special. So in the $1 tier, this is the tier where you get early access on videos, and ideally going forward, that'll be like a week out, starting after this video. Basically, as soon as I finish that video, I upload it for my patrons to have early access to it. One thing with my sorry, I'm like getting over COVID, so I'm a little bit weird in the nose region. One thing that I want to make abundantly clear about my Patreon is that I am not gatekeeping any information. All of my research is given to you here for free. There's going to be no extra research-based videos. I don't necessarily disagree with people charging for information, but that's just not something that I want to do. I feel weird doing that. So no like information about Hellenic polytheism, none of my research is going to be gatekept behind this Patreon. This Patreon is more for you to get to know me in many ways. For example, in the $1 tier, you get a newsletter, and so in the newsletter, so weekly newsletter where, since I'm not on social media and I have no plans to go back on social media, people have asked me, the answer is no. The newsletter is kind of where it's like a behind the scenes, right? I talk about what I've been up to that week, where I've been traveling, what I've been watching, what I've been reading. Sometimes it's more mundane things like that. Other times I do actually talk about what I'm working on for this channel, sometimes months in advance. Like in my current newsletter, I talked about a project that I started back in July of 2021, and I don't foresee myself finishing anytime soon. But the patrons got to read about my process of starting that. So you kind of get behind the scenes, photos. I really love taking and editing photos. I hate Instagram because Instagram compresses the hell out of everything and everything's a square. But on my Patreon, I get to have the photos look and be as big as I want. So you get to see some fun exploration into me actually like doing photography, which is fun. That's the $1 tier. The $3 tier, you get book reviews. So these are going to be extra videos that I will review. I recently put a poll out on what people are interested in, and unsurprisingly, people are mostly interested in me reviewing content that's either fiction media around based on Greek myths or pagan witchy books. Interestingly enough, not as many people were interested in academic literature, which, you know, is fine by me because I feel like I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't be critiquing that as an academic. I would be critiquing that on how easy it is to comprehend as a layman. But anyway, so that's there. And I'm going to be polling that out later to see what people are interested in going down the line. But that's going to be an extra video. I'm currently working on what video I want to film first. It's going to be deeply unhinged. For example, have you ever heard of the book Psychic Witch? Well, I decided back in 2020 that I was going to read through the book and do every single exercise. So you don't have to. So that is a fun little book review. They're going to be deeply honest because I have a lot of strong opinions. That's part of the reason why I'm not making it accessible to the general public, because, you know, it's not necessarily like I'm gatekeeping information, but I don't want to come off as mean, but I have a lot of opinions. So the book review videos are going to be deeply unhinged. So get ready for that. Also in there, you get polls for voting on what videos you want to see. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to make a video, but oftentimes I struggle with what I am going to make and what I think is interesting in the polls. Oh, hi. Okay, bye. So the polls are a good way for me to actually gauge what people are interested in, and also helps me kind of like a virtual coin flip, except less up to chance and more what people are actually interested in. The polls basically, you know, it's like, do you want to see if I'm working, like, spoiler alert, I'm working on a video on Hera, finally getting around to that. So it's like if I get to, I'm still doing like 1 or 2 videos a month, so if it gets to February, right? And it's like, do you want to see a video on me talking about how I worship local nature spirits versus a deity deep dive on Hera, if I've done both the research for those, but I don't know what I want to film? You can vote on what you would like to see, and the winner of that poll will be the video that comes, which then you will get early access to. You get a shout out on the screen with your name. So if you don't want me to put your name there, like, message me on Patreon and I won't. So then the final tier for like where you get actual benefits besides just a general support tier is the $5 tier. So this gets you my full script access when there is a script. Not every video has a script. Like this video, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, but all of my research videos have scripts, and this is retroactive too. So all of my past research videos, you will get access to my script. So what does that entail exactly? Well, in my Hecate the Hellenistic Age video, I had around, I think I said 30 single-spaced 12-point font text. So obviously all 30 pages of those, most of my research videos are a collection of quotes and where I got them from, because just for me, it's like my sources essentially. So like you still get access to all my sources in my video, but this, you know, you get access to my script. A lot of my scripts are kind of unhinged. You'll see where I write in jokes, or I'll write in little editing notes to myself, so you get all of that. I don't want that to seem like I'm gatekeeping information, because I know that can kind of come across like that, but like all of the stuff that's in my script makes it into the video. This is just kind of like, you can read along, you can read it. So fun fact, I know I said this video was gonna be short and mostly to the point. So fun fact about these pockets, these are called welt pockets. Most people complain, you know, they're like, oh, what are these fake pockets doing in this jacket? Well, they're not fake pockets, because this one is real and I have to cut it open. So most people don't know this, but for things like welt pockets, which are common in certain kinds of pants and all blazers, so welt pockets, you have to stitch them shut or they will become severely deformed in the shipping and making process, and that's kind of part of how you complete them, is you have to stitch them shut. I don't feel like explaining this. If you think you have a blazer that has fake pockets like this, it's probably not fake. They're just welt pockets. This is really difficult. Don't recommend cutting with one hand. They're slip stitch shut, which basically means they're kind of like an invisible stitch. This is a kind of some unhinged shit you might get on my Patreon. Talk a lot about the crafts I make, most of which will never see the light of day, you know, because you'll see them if you live with me, unless they're in the background of a video. But I do like talking about what I've been up to. So anyway, pocket. So, ladies, other folks who wear women's clothing. Free yourself. Cut open your welt pockets. Anyway, Patreon. The hell was I saying? Oh yeah, so you get script access. Again, in that one, you get a shout out verbally at the end of every video. Potentially in the future, depending on how Patreon goes. I did entertain the idea of doing a book club. I would prefer to read books that were like focused on Hellenic polytheism. I know my book reviews will include things that are general pagan witchcraft. The reason there's not one right now is because I felt like if, I only have like one or two patrons in the higher tiers, it'd be kind of strange to have a book club with just me and one other person. Also, like, if there are other stuff that would incentivize you to subscribe to the Patreon, let me know. I am a big fan of putting a lot of stuff in the $1 and $3 tiers. Personally, like, I just, I like talking to people. That's why I do this. That's why I do this for free. But I still want to incentivize people for the higher tiers. But those higher tiers are also predominantly for support tiers. So those are tiers that if you feel like you want to give me, like if you feel and are able to give me a little, like, feel and are able to want to support me at those levels, be my guest. But I generally like to keep the vast majority of my stuff to the $1 to $3 tiers. So yeah, that being said, if you're interested in a book club, that'd be interesting. I will not be opening a Discord at this point in time. Frankly, that's a lot of effort that I don't presently believe that I can accurately do. I also don't feel comfortable having a Discord centered around me. It's totally fine if people do. That's just not what I'm vibing with. I like to be a part of the community as opposed to like the leader of it. So you can also find me in a bunch of Hellenic polytheist Discords. Okay, I think I'm at like the time limit for my filming here. Remember when I said this was going to be short, sweet, and to the point? Anyway, even though I started 2023 with COVID, honestly, I'm kind of grateful for it in some ways because I was trapped in my room for 5 days straight, and I was going a little bit crazy by the end there. So it kind of maybe usually January makes me want to hunker down, but after that, I want nothing more than to run around and do things. So I am actually going to go to the library, and I'm going to go out and about to the library because there is a book in French about Hera that I am working on translating so I can complete my Hera video in a timely manner. Like I said, I do hope to go to 2 videos a month again. We will see. Hopefully January and February will be big prep months, and yeah, anyway, you don't have to support me on Patreon. I'm still going to make the same videos for free. And kind of, it's a more personal side of me that I don't really get to share, but I actually do like sharing. Just not on the algorithm's watch. Happy 1977. I hope it's a good year for you. Anyway, bye.